So this video does come with a trigger warning for anyone who has trauma or has dealt with any of the things I'm speaking about. So it's going to be mentioning sexual abuse, rape, suicide. And it's not easy for me to speak about it. The reason I haven't been doing videos like this for a while is I'm actually really sick. And I'm trying really hard to take care of my health. Physically, mentally, emotionally. Videos like this are very triggering. Like, I can already feel my chest and my guts tightening up. It's also the same struggle that I'm having with doing things like the petition and the phone calls and everything that I'm trying to do for advocating, because I'm in so much pain and I'm just so sick. And I'm in dire straits where I'm running out of time. I've got nowhere to live. I'm already down a pet, and I need to take care of myself. But it's really important to explain the reality of what really happened with Victoria. Now, this isn't about evidence or outing anyone. The investigations are still happening behind the scenes, and they'll probably take quite a while. Victoria, as we are now seeing, it's all over the news. Everything I've been saying, everyone has known. It is really dodgy. There's a lot of corruption, and a lot of people have suffered at the hands of the Victorian system. I'm just one of many, and this is my story. So for me, I also want to be very careful of how I'm speaking about it, because while I couldn't give a fuck that there are safety orders against me, one of the people has done the right thing, and I care greatly about that, because that person doing the right thing is why and how I'm able to take care of myself right now. It cost me $8,000 of money that I don't have just to get that one reversed because of what it was doing to me. I could have gone in and consented without admission to all three. See, I'm already feeling it. Now, for anyone who has been following my story, I've had this channel for almost 2 years. And it's all over the show. But that's what CPTSD is. That's what complex trauma is. That's what having trauma in Australia is. Because we're not being treated. We're actually being mistreated. So I was born in Queensland. But my father was born in Mildura, Victoria, and that's where he was from. And at the age of 2, when my mum left him, he actually went back to Mildura, and he convinced my mother to go down and visit him, that he was a changed man, and she took me down there, and he convinced her to go back to Queensland, pack up the house, leave me with him. She got back and he had taken off with me. So for 4 years he had me. And in those 4 years, he told me my mother wasn't my mother, that she didn't want me. Every woman, which was nearly weekly, that he was fucking in front of me. I was watching him have sex with women at bus stops and then throwing cigarettes at them. I was sleeping on the hard floor with just a blanket and a pillow on a wooden fucking floor in some bitch's room, watching him have sex right there. I was sneaking out, crossing highways to steal food. We hitchhiked. We caught buses, trains. We walked and walked and walked. And for 4 years, that was my life with him, all the way up to Mount Isa. It's relevant that I'm telling you this. Anyway, I ended up back with my mum. All this stuff happened. At the age of 15, I ran away from my mother to go and find my dad and live with him. He was in Phillip Island, in Victoria. I got tricked into going there because I had siblings now, half siblings, and that's what I wanted my whole life, was a family, to belong, to be loved, to be wanted. My mother didn't beat me like my father did, but it was very clear that my mother didn't want me, and she just dragged me around. She had boyfriend after boyfriend. There was no affection. She was yelling at me for saying sorry all the time. People will think I abuse you. You are. That year in Victoria with him was hell. After 1 week of being there on Phillip Island with him, I reverse called my mum from a payphone. Please let me out of here. No, you ran away. You made your bed. You lie in it. You're doing all of year 10 there now. It was one of the worst years of my life in every way. My stepmother hated me and was jealous of me, but also they both hate my mum and my grandma, my mum's mum. So every single day I was poked in the forehead and told that I was just a slut, a cunt, and a whore, and a stupid idiot, and a bitch. Just like your mum, just like your grandma. I wasn't allowed to leave the house, except for school. Work, where they took my pay, they took my free meal, and I was allowed to do 1 lap around the block a day with my stepmom like a fucking dog. She was force-feeding me large plates that I couldn't eat because she was obese, until I got fatter than her, and then she would make fun of me. I'd be in the shower, having my 10 minutes, and suddenly she'd be outside, putting the garden hose through the window, blasting me with cold water as a prank because she thought it was funny. I wasn't allowed to go to friends' houses, and anytime I had a friend over, my dad was perving on him. Every single one of his friends that year tried something. He had a friend in his 20s who was obsessed with me, had a crush on me, and my dad thought it was hilarious. The father of that person, who was in his 70s, told me when no one was around that he was having dreams about me that I probably wouldn't want to know about. My father's best friend used to get drunk and try to hit me up for hand jobs, and my father wouldn't believe me and told me I was a lying whore like my mother. When I finally left him, he didn't believe that I was leaving. He thought I was going to just visit my mum and come back. And when he realized that I was actually leaving and not coming back, he grabbed me, he dragged me, he had a pool cue, he had me up against the fucking thing. He told me that he wanted me to die. He dragged me into his work truck, drunk, with the 22-year-old who wanted to fuck me. The truck had no brakes. He used the handbrake. And he thought it would be hilarious to fang it down a hill towards the dead-end sign and then handbrake and drift around the corner at the last minute, throwing my gifts, because it was my last day of work experience and I was doing it at a solicitor's office. I wanted to be a police officer. I wanted to be a lawyer. I wanted to put people like my dad away. But because he found out, he had the realization that I wasn't coming back. He threw my flowers and my teddy out the window. He took my $50 that they gave me. I wasn't even meant to be paid, but they were so happy And they knew what he was doing, and they gave me $50 for me. And I don't know how, I can't remember how he knew, but he snatched it and he took it. And on my last day as I was leaving, my baby sister was about 18 months old. That's the last time I saw her. I was 15. My baby brother was 4, and my other baby brother was 9. And my dad was so angry that I was leaving, but because my mother had threatened him, because he was growing weed and doing drugs, and she knew all this stuff, and she had threatened him. She's like, if you lay one fucking finger on her, I'm going to have the cops over there, and all your kids are going to be taken from you. I know everything about you. So every time, actually, what happened was he would get angry with me, and then he would remember my mum's threat, and he would turn around, and he would just pick the baby up and throw her, or he would take it out on my stepmom, which made her hate me more. And I was just constantly watching them all getting beaten. And I don't know what happened or what was said on the last day, but we were getting ready to leave to take me to the airport. And my last memory of seeing my stepmom and my siblings was actually my dad dragging her by the hair, and then me in the bedroom holding my little baby sister with my hands over her ears, and the 2 boys on either side just all huddled together, humming and singing so they couldn't hear the sound of their mother and everything that he was doing to her. And by the time we went out there, it looked like a cyclone had gone through the house. Like the dining table was upside down over there. Everything was smashed. And she came out. She had a busted lip and her eye was out. And she was just... And he just took me, and that was my goodbye. They all just got left there with... And I promised them in that room that I would do everything I could to get him out of that. Because I thought I would never have to see him again, but I wanted my siblings out of there. And you have no idea what it was like walking away from them just to save myself. Sorry, I've had to take off my jumper. I'm getting hot. So I thought I'd never see him again. And I was living on the Gold Coast with my mother, who had just gotten back from England with another psycho. He had beaten her, he had done all kinds of things, and I did not recognize my mum. Her skin was grey and yellow. And I didn't understand at the time, but I do now. Her nervous system was fucked. Everything, she was like... And I couldn't breathe without pissing her off. And we were both so traumatized that we just hated each other. And that's when I started doing drugs to escape. And I hated her so much. I hated her so much that I actually chose to live on the streets. And we lived... Oh, it doesn't matter. Now I'm going to tell you, on Kenny Drive in Labrador on the Gold Coast, which is actually the nicer side of Labrador. Actually, I don't know if it is now. Anything could have happened. But basically, Labrador was a divider. You had it was the ghetto and it was shit, and then it suddenly turned nice. And, we had palm trees and stuff. And but it was on the border, and it was behind the football grounds where the shops are. And there was a park at the end of the street, and I was sleeping at the park. I actually tried to take my life at the park. I put a belt around my neck and hung it off the pole, and I stood off the edge, but it snapped and I landed on my knees. Because what I used to do is I knew my mum's shift work, and I used to watch when she would leave to work, and I knew her shifts, how long, and I would break in and I would have a shower, and I would eat, I would play with the dog, and I would just hang out. And then when I knew she was coming back, like an hour before, I'd put the TV remote back on its channel, back on the volume, back on the same position, where I'd just put a hair or whatever to know everything as it was, and I would leave. And then I would go, and I'd actually been leaving up at the football grounds. They had those stands really high up. I'd actually had all my stuff just up there, and I started sleeping up there. And it was getting too much, and I went to Centrelink, and they told me that I had to go with my dad and that my mother okayed it. She denied that. And I was sent back to him. Begging. I fucking begged them. Her name was Jenny, and it was at Southport in February 2001. Jenny, please, I just did year 10 there. He's abusive. I am not safe, please. Your mother has okayed this. My mum denies that, and she tried to get me to sue them. So I went to my mother's. I actually called Jenny. I don't know if it was myself or Jenny called to arrange for my bags of clothing so that I could go to my father's. And my mother opened the door and shoved 2 black garbage bags at me. Didn't even put a normal bag. She fucking hated me at that time, because you know what else she did? She put all the rubbish from the bathroom bin and my bedroom bin, so there were pad wrappers and banana peels and clumps of hair and all kinds of shit through all my clothes. And I lost it. I fucking lost it. So before I went to my father's, I went around and I got bags. I went out to all the public bins around and wheelie bins. I was fucking so charged up, and I got all this rubbish from the neighborhood, and I went and just dumped it all over her lawn. And then I got onto a bus, a coach, one of those grey whatever, and I went to my father's and back to Phillip Island. But when I got there, my stepmother and my siblings weren't there. They were in South Australia, because that's where she's from. She'd gone home for a holiday with the kids, and it was just him and I. He told me that while she was away, I was going to replace her. He told me that he had been waiting, that I was his soulmate since birth, and that he had been waiting for me to mature, because I clearly hadn't when I was there in grade 10, and that the only thing that we wouldn't be able to do would be make babies together. I have never been so terrified in my life. I actually did some of the things that he told me to do because of what he was doing and the threats that he made, and how I was frozen with fear. I had 2 opportunities to escape, and I didn't, because of that fear. For a quarter of a century, I've been carrying that shame and guilt and self-loathing around. On the 5th day, I actually had a light bulb go off into my head. And I remember that a couple of blocks away was that couple. That old dude who had been having the dreams about me. They had a holiday house. Now, I knew it was a 50-50 that they might not actually be there, but I also knew that they were getting on, and maybe they had already retired, like fingers crossed. And my father had been telling me that they were no longer friends. So that gave me even more hope. So I actually strategized to get out because what he had done, everything was locked. The windows. Sorry, it's getting hard to breathe. I'm just going to pause. He had locked the windows, the gate, the door, everything. It was Fort fucking Knox. I couldn't remember where the police station was, and I knew it was in town, but town was really far. He had sent me up the road to the bottle shop, and I was going to make the run for it. But I freaked out so hard that, because it was in the opposite direction to the police, and I just freaked out that I wouldn't make it, because I'd actually remembered that when I had stayed there in year 10 for that year, I tried to run away. I had a moment where I ran away, and he chased me down dirt roads in his car. I was running through people's backyards. I was running under people's houses on stilts and carports. I was running across roofs. I was hiding, shaking, watching my father chasing me. And it was actually my stepmother who found me, and she dragged me by the hair and just threw me into the car. I was scared that if he caught me, what would happen, because I didn't have my mother's protection. And actually, what told him that I was ready for him to rape me? I had gone to my father for safety while I was living on the streets. And I told him that I had gone to a party where I was date raped by my boyfriend, and then him and his friend held me down on a trampoline. And they fucked me till I bled. I was too ashamed to tell anyone, and at school everyone was calling me a whore because they didn't know what really happened. Opening up to him about that aroused him. And told him I was ready. So on the 5th day, as soon as I remembered they were there, I went into strategy mode. And that's when the trauma brain really kicked in. I knew that running in a panic wouldn't work. I had to trick him. And it took me that long to figure it out. I was 17. It was my dad. The man who made me and was meant to protect me was coming on my stomach and saying, I saw the fear in your eyes, which is why I didn't do it on your face. He knew I was scared and he thought it was funny. I remembered my job and I was like, hey, I should call Big John's Pizza. They're not there anymore, I don't think. Get my old job back. So I did. In front of him, he was right there. I had the full-on chat with John. Hey, John. Come on in. And my dad, I let him think that I was having a shower, but I didn't. I needed to keep evidence. I was covered in cum. There was this towel. I dabbed off most of it, and then I hid the towel where my dad wouldn't find it so I could tell the police about the evidence. And I got ready. And that he even gave me my stepmom's bicycle. Had a flat tire. And I rode. I never pedaled so hard in my fucking life. And I remembered where that couple lived. And they were there. And it was it for me. I got out. But after I told the story to the police, they said to me, with all this evidence, there's enough to just get him for incest. It's going to be so traumatizing for you to testify, to have to get up there and fight him and fight that. Because he was saying, she's my soulmate. So in the police just believed that I had sex with my dad. And I had no one there advocating for me. And I just went along with it. So as soon as that was told to my father's family, they all felt sorry for my dad. Because poor him got manipulated and tricked by me, apparently my whore of a mother and my cunt of a grandmother sent the 17-year-old in to seduce him and trick him so that we could send him to jail, the poor man. Every single one of them gone. My stepmother said, you're a filthy fucking whore and you will never see your siblings again. And I never have. My grandmother said, I'll believe it when he goes to jail. Well, he went to jail and I never got my grandma back. All my aunties and uncles were like, sorry, we don't want to get involved. And that meant all my cousins were cut off from me. So that was the last time I went there. That I was in Victoria. Aside from, shopping weekends in Melbourne or passing through on a trip. I did 2 days driving through on a road trip briefly. More than 20 years passed. You see, I was told that he would get 9 years eligible for parole after 7. So after 6 years, because he had said that he would kill me if I told anyone. I had been moving around because I was so scared. This whole family blamed me for him going to jail. He had threatened to kill me. I couldn't keep still. It's a massive family. I've got at least 50 fucking cousins on that side. One of them's a cop. Do you know how scared I was my whole life? Looking over my shoulder. After 6 years, knowing that he'd be eligible for parole after 7, my mum hired a PI. The PI, once they heard the story, felt sorry for us, didn't even charge us. It was free in the end. That's disgusting. Here's the information. Victims of crime didn't bother letting... My details had changed, but my mother's hadn't. She was down to be notified as soon as he was out of prison. Apparently he was a good pedo in pedo prison. He got released after 5 years. And no one told me. Now, his loving, doting fiancé at the time moved her and the children. They got bullied off of Phillip Island. I'd heard about it. My dad kept getting bashed and found in the gutter. The kids were getting teased at school. Everyone found out. They were bullied off the island. She went and moved the kids and stayed out near Ararat so she could support him. And then he got out. He was a class 1 offender where he's not allowed to do all these things. Not allowed online. She married him. Her kid, because I had 2 halves and a step, so the step took on his name. Had another baby to him, another little girl I've seen. who looks exactly like I did as a kid, with the blonde hair and the blue eyes. And I'm like, the police had my statements that he was fantasizing since birth that I was his fucking soulmate. And I wasn't okay, so I was stalking my siblings on Facebook. Yes, I said the word stalking! I'm very open about it. I was watching my baby sister and brother from afar because I was worried that they were with a pedo. I was watching them grow up through Facebook. And when my baby sister turned 21, I reached out to her. And I told her. And she told one of the brothers who reached out to me, who was ready to kill him. They disappeared for a few months, and then I found out that actually that brother beat the shit out of him, and he got kicked out of the house. And at that time, he had been living in a caravan where no one was talking to him. I randomly received a message on Facebook because I had reached out to one of my uncles who, when I was about 38, just before I went to the desert, after I got back from China. That uncle is now like a pastor, and had told me everything that happened. And I stayed in contact with him on Facebook. I got a phone call through Facebook from him to tell me that after about 8 months of living in that caravan, my father had hung himself. The brother and my baby sister, who I had told, received a voice message from him, and they ran over and found him and tried to do CPR. He was taken to hospital and he was put into an induced coma because he was an organ donor. I called the hospital, was denied anything because the stepmom said no, but then later on she must have calmed down and said I was allowed information as long as I promised not to turn up. And I made the promise. But then that uncle who had told me got cut out of the family. He was okay with that. After 4 days, they took him off the life support and he died, and they cremated him, and I was denied. I didn't go to the funeral, obviously. So that's when I went out to the desert. Tried to rescue Bonnie. She died. I got really sick. Ended up in a relationship with a Muslim refugee who had a lot of trauma. It's when I got dragged by the car, all this crazy stuff. I was on my last thread. And that's when I decided to go to Daylesford, because I knew someone who was staying there temporarily at the time, and that was my opportunity to face my demons. I was really sick, but I was determined to heal. I'd been on my online job for about a year at the time because I was told by the bank business loan manager that I needed to be at a job to be able to get the business loan consistently for at least a year. Because I wanted to travel, I was like, I need an online job. So I had all these plans to go around to a few different farms, 3 months here, 6 months there, and learn how to run a farm and do all the self-sufficiency and do with, because I was studying how to take care of the animals. Because I already knew the business side of things. I don't want to, but I needed to heal, and I had a lot to learn, and that's why I went into the business I did in Enki to meet the consultant there, because I had gone to Daylesford under the assumption that I was just going to heal and rest and recover my nervous system. But actually, when I got there, I learned that it was like a quaint spa town full of natural healers and herbalism, and it was just the perfect vibe that I needed. I was like, oh my God, I'm not just in Victoria. I haven't just come to stay with someone I know. This is a chance to truly heal my nervous system, because I stumbled across that business when I was just wanting to go into a cafe. Sorry, my legs are starting to tingle. One sec. Sorry, I was starting to lose the feeling in my legs, which is what happens leading up to seizures. Because I'm really spiritual. To be walking up the street and feel a pull, to meet someone and just know without knowing. I just knew it was my time. I'm sorry. Yes. So I spent 4 months there. Now I have to be really careful, because I can't actually talk about the manager, but the manager is so significant in my life and in my healing and in my journey that I need to talk about it, because people don't get it, and it didn't just change my life. Like, I am all kinds of fucked up. I've had my whole future taken from me, and things are never going to be the same again, and it's because of this experience, and I need to be able to talk about it. I actually thought the manager at that place was a fucking angel from heaven, because I experienced things I never had. Now, my health is something that no one understands. GPs gaslight us. People in community just think I'm a fucking freak. To have somebody kneel down in front of me, crouch down, look me in the eyes, and believe me? I felt things. I felt things I've never felt in my life. And over those 4 months of going there, I felt things change. I started feeling things I'd never experienced. The way I was breathing, the way I was seeing and feeling life. I'd never felt that level of safety. Never, never, never. Not for a fucking minute. Their business became my safe space, and once a fortnight, I got to breathe. Once a fortnight, I got to let my guard down and not have to look around over my shoulder. Once a fortnight I got to feel like I wasn't a piece of shit. I actually thought they respected me and cared about me. It felt so good. The thing is, I feel things, I see things, I sense things, and every time I was around her, I was... because I couldn't just tell them what was happening, because I knew they would think I was fucking weird and they would not believe me and all this sort of stuff. But actually, by not telling them, it made them just draw their own conclusions. Now, I had never met the owner of that business, but I had seen him. And I was torn in two, because one half of me was worshipping this man. These products that he was making were changing my health in ways I'd never known. But on the other side, the energy was fucking with me. I had very openly told the entire crew, him, the manager, the other owner, my herbalists, their friends, everyone. I Googled you. And I did. I Googled them all. And I told them I saw a video on YouTube. It was amazing. They were stoked. They loved that I had done that. I was so proud. I was so proud of them. I was promoting them everywhere. And everywhere I was going out and promoting them, everyone told me I was a fucking idiot. I got told that I was being played. And I was getting defensive. Like, how dare you? These guys are saving my life. I got told that they're a fucking cult. Be careful. I got told they see you coming a mile away, mate. They're ripping you off. You're a fucking idiot. When I was looking at the photos, I had seen a photo of the owner and the manager. And as soon as I saw it, I got slapped in the face with all this stuff. And it made me really uncomfortable, and it made me worried for her about his intentions. At the time, I didn't know that she was a family of status and wealth. I didn't know that. She was just an average human being. I now know why that all happened. It all makes sense now, but I didn't at the time. And all this stuff was hitting me, and I got worried, and every time I was around them, especially her, I was nervous. And I even reached out to her and I told her about it, and she responded with such compassion, understanding, and warmth, and we were okay. When my herbalist went away, the owner took over. Literally 4 months of me worshipping, 4 months of me grateful, 4 months of me transforming, 4 months of me spending hundreds every week, 4 months of me only going in once a fortnight. That's it. Turned into messaging every time, every fucking day, because I was not okay. It turned into me constantly going in because I was having a reaction. It turned into me so sick that I had to get an Airbnb in a hotel. It turned into me having fucking the biggest fucking medical episode that I've ever had in my life. And when I went to them for help for it, the entire team for 4 months, who had done nothing but help me, praise me. That manager kept telling me how she had noticed the difference in me and how I was transforming. They kept coming out and hugging me. I don't like physical touch. I didn't like being hugged by them. But because I cared and I trusted them, it was part of my healing to accept those hugs with gratitude. And it was helping me open up. and learn how to be a human. So I did it. I sat through the discomfort of being hugged by these people. I had the reaction, and then suddenly those people pulled back at the end of the whole day of helping me. Now that man who had only known me for that short few days or week or whatever it was, he hadn't been helping me for 4 months. He didn't have that rapport with me. But he knew my history, he knew my trauma. He knew that I didn't go to the doctors because they were accusing me of drugs and it would trigger me, and he knew that's why I couldn't go to the hospital as well. So after hours of being there, having them console me, calm me down, hydrate me, and get me to being okay, in front of everyone, he interrogates me about being on drugs, and then suddenly they don't want to hug me. Suddenly they don't want to talk to me. Suddenly they're not allowed to serve me. Suddenly he tells me, we can't help you, we're just a cafe. A few days later, that manager went overseas for 3 months and had no idea what was going on. So she had no idea that he was telling the whole town not to go near me because I was on drugs, that people stopped serving me, that I was doubled over, sick, trying to walk up the street, and people were sidestepping me, that the doctors wouldn't even come near me. And I had a nervous breakdown. I went there to face my demons and got traumatized in a way that had literally had me on my knees. Now, I lost my job over what happened with that. And when I reached out to the manager's mother, I wasn't okay. But when you look at the transcript, I never asked for her for money. I was begging her to go in and look at what he's doing. I was begging her to get her daughter away from that. Get her daughter away from the darkness. I was telling her that all those people are disrespecting the daughter, talking shit about the daughter, and that he is going to throw her under the bus. That she has so much potential. Get away, get away. They took that to the police. No one believed me. It made me relive it all again, just like the Phillip Island Cows police. They didn't believe I was raped. These police didn't believe it. They took snippets. They lied about what I said and twisted the context. I was instantly banned from town. I had to leave town. I had safety orders against me that didn't even have anything to back up what I did, like physically. Didn't even make any sense. Because the last correspondence I had with the manager was full of compassion, and then suddenly I get this violence order to say that she was scared of me based on stuff that was quoted by the manager in that 3 months while she wasn't there. He went in to give those statements about me for them. That made me homeless. That put me on emergency housing. On the way to court, twice, I was given tickets, and one of them, they were actually physically waiting. The Daylesford police knew that my license had expired, and right near the Daylesford entrances on the way to Ballarat court, heading to court, they just so happened to be sitting there to scan me going past to know that I didn't have a license. I still have the physical ticket. When I reported that, the ticket was withdrawn. It disappeared. It doesn't exist in the system. I've got the paper copy, you cunts. They were hovering around my caravan while I was camped at Mount Franklin. I could hear them right outside my van, laughing and talking. Tell me that's not intimidation, you fucking cunts. Leaning over Phoebe while she was shivering and trembling and hyperventilating in fear to hand me that ticket. Every accommodation I got to had people suddenly change their mind out of nowhere. And I had it confirmed when they got a phone call on Facebook in front of me. I don't give a fuck about the safety orders. I know what you did, dude. And that's why I wanted her mum to get her away from you. Because I knew what you were doing. And I knew that you were going to throw her under the bus. Blackmail charges get thrown out. What do you know? I didn't fucking blackmail anyone. Consent without admission to the stupid orders. I started this channel while those orders were still in place. I didn't care about them. But when I started the channel, I kept the names off to protect them. But that, guys, was on. The police were on. So when I heard that I was getting 3 orders against me, I thought it was that guy and the 2 police, because they're the only 3 names that I had on the evidence. I find out these 2 have come back with more orders against me, with more stuff that I've done that doesn't even line up with the first ones, but it does line up with stuff that I have expressed about my trauma that would really traumatize me and fuck with my mental health that I've expressed on the channel. So it was done intentionally to hurt me. I go through court. No one will look at my evidence. So I actually recorded the first 3 hearings for my safety. Because that third hearing, they intentionally went on the WebEx because they knew it would traumatize me. And when I went into the hearing, after begging the Ballarat court, showing them a video that I was hitting my head and I was not in any state to go, they know how traumatizing it is for police. Instead of adjourning, they called the police. So they knew it would trigger me to send the police for a welfare check. They knew I couldn't go to court hitting myself in the head. Instead, they called the police to welfare check me and traumatize me further and let the hearing go ahead, so that I had to go in to the hearing without a fucking bra, hitting my head, unable to see like a lunatic, with him on the screen like a victim. Then when I said it was so traumatizing, they took the screen off and he kept fucking pressing it and he kept flashing his face at me. Which is why I paid $8,000 to get a lawyer for the next hearing. I could have just consented without admission and just done. But it was my mission to get that one order of sexual harassment reversed. I consented without admission, so I didn't have to listen to the other 2 lie and traumatize me further. In the courtroom, the judge said openly that they went onto my channel and could see that I'd been in the psych ward, said openly that they wouldn't probably have much of a chance to actually, to get the order against me if they were to fight it, that third one. And that by having the other two with orders against me anyway, she's covered by family. Not one word throughout the whole fucking hearing until this moment that she just wants it to be over. It's been going on long enough anyway. So, to make it easier, she just withdrew. Now, by her doing that, I've come in and I've taken off every single video that has her name on it and her mother's. I am really hurt by her mother, but out of respect for her, I'm just doing it because she's done it, to do the good thing for her, because it's her mum. By default, her mother is just getting that respect from me. The thing is, there are investigations going on in the background. IBAC, Police Commissioner, the court, the Health Complaints Commission, and an investigative journalist. So I've told them all. They've all got the evidence. I've told them all. They know I've broken the law and recorded the hearings when I wasn't allowed to. They know I've done it for my safety. And they know that if they don't do their jobs and get to the bottom of this, it is all going on my channel. They all know I'm willing to go to prison for it. They all know I'm willing to die for it. They all know that if I end up getting sentenced to prison over this, that by the time they come and get me to put me in prison, they'll be taking a corpse from a tree, because I'm not going to spend a single day in prison for what these people have done. They also know that they're in Victoria, I'm in Tasmania. The whole country knows that everyone is watching Victoria because they're dodgy. The Tasmanian Police Commissioner and the local police where I'm camping, the police where my grandma lives, the police in the whole fucking region, on the area that I'm in, all know about my channel, about my trauma, about my THC meds. I send them everything. They all know about court. When I got given the two orders, consent without admission, I went in. They had their body cams on to record it, and they're like, blah, 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 giving the orders. And I said, can you please line the camera up so it sees me? And I spoke directly in to the camera. And I had the orders. Sorry, I need to balance it. I had the orders in front of me. And I said, I am a law-abiding citizen. I adhere to real laws. These are not laws. And I ripped them in half. And I said, these are fire starters for my fire tonight. I will see you very soon when these idiots take me to court for breaching. The Tasmanian police laughed because they know what you're all doing. Everything that they've done backfired because they came on here to get the videos that I have of all the evidence and the Daylesford story off. I haven't taken them. So all the same videos are still there. But I've also left the re-traumatization ones. There are a couple here that still have his name on. And I'm not taking them off because they show the trauma and what I've been reliving. And I don't care about his order. I'm breaching, and I have been breaching for 6-7 months, and I haven't been arrested. The judge asked him why he hasn't had me arrested for the breaches, and he said that he was told they couldn't arrest me because they don't know where I live. So I think the judge has caught on to the fact that this guy's full of shit. The lawyer told me straight up, it is very clear that the hierarchy goes him, the mum, and then the other one. It is very clear that he is entirely in charge, in control of the narrative. He spoke for the other two. 3 separate orders, completely separate, disgusting allegations, yet he's the one doing all the talking. These things take months behind the scenes, and Victoria has quite a backlog. So I'm not putting any evidence on here at the moment because I'm waiting for people to do their jobs. It is a lot, and it's really fucking traumatizing, as you've seen just by talking about it. I'm at this stage now where I've met people who are really good. I'm only connecting with people who are good. The people in my life are people who work in trauma, people who work in social services, people who have trauma, people who are, nurses and vets and volunteers in old aged care. I'm only dealing with people who have fucking heart, mate. I'm not dealing with cunts anymore, fake business phonies who are only in it for the money. People who are, one side here, one side there. You are real. I was at the shop and I was carrying a bag and the bag split. And I tried to pick it up and I was juggling all this stuff and had my mobile phone just balancing. And these 2 guys rushed to help me at the same time. One looked like a meth addict. He looked like he just came out of the methadone clinic. And he reeked of alcohol. He reeked of cigarettes. He looked filthy. He wasn't even walking properly. He was off his fucking chops. The one next to him was in a suit, high roller. Looked like he had a fucking fancy phone. Fucking his, those alligator fucking shoes like those dickheads wear where they think they look cool, but they look like a dick. All blinging up and, Mr. Respect Me. And they both went to help me at the same time. And it's I had to make a choice who I want to choose. And I looked at him. And I chose druggy without any fucking teeth. And this guy looked really okay. And that guy, he was carrying my bag with the phone just balancing there. Now this junkie could have just taken off with my phone. He saw that I was limping and struggling. We were going past alleys. But I just knew that he wouldn't. And you want to know something? I have since seen both of them walking past them in the street, and you want to know the difference? Mr. fucking Suave with his alligator shoes doesn't even recognize me. Walks straight past me. I don't exist. Mr. fucking, how's it going? How's it going, doll? He remembers me. And I also saw what it did for him that day, because I saw that he saw me choose him over the person who most people would have chosen. I'm going for heart. I don't care how shiny you are. I will choose the cleaner with 1 tooth who just gave me her sandwich on her lunch break over Mr. Suave over here with the fucking notes falling out of his wallet. What happened in Daylesford didn't just change my life. It made me relive my childhood. It made me relive Victoria. And what nobody knows that I'm going to say for the first time ever is that man at that business in Daylesford who did that looks like my father. Now remember, the last time I saw my father, I was 17. My father was 17 when he had me, so he was only 34. So he was in his 30s. He was bald and he had a beard. And he loved young women and he liked to control everything. And he referred to himself as a messiah. The name of this business is named after a god. You need to understand how much this man has become my father. To see him flashing his face while I was already reliving that is why it became him raping my nervous system. No one understands that without trauma. So those people are deep in my system, and they're going to be for the rest of my life. And I am working really hard to get them out, which is why I have forgiven her. But also I know that once that person wakes up to all of this, and I really hope she does one day, she's going to need to heal from her own trauma. I don't know what's going to happen for posting this video, because it's full of breaches and talking to people, but what I'm hoping now, honestly, is that enough time has passed since court that at least one of them has had time to sit with all of this and see it for what it is. I'm really hoping that the go-to isn't to just run out and try and fuck me over for expressing this on a video. I really hope that this helps people reflect and understand why things got as crazy as it did, why I am as sick as I am, why I've been raging as hard as I am, why I've been as reactive as I have, and why I will not let it go. The state of Victoria is in my blood and in my veins like a poison. And I need to get it out. And the only way I can do that is by feeling safe, by forgiving, loving, nurturing, and letting go, moving forward. And I really hope that by getting this out of my system that I can do that.